What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for lineups.com. Let's talk a little Survivor week number 2. Very little blood in week number 1. So hopefully if you're watching this, you got all your entries through. Most of the very top picks all made it through. Really only the Patriots that got any sort of love whatsoever went down in week number 1, but that was just a fraction of most of the pools that are out there. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. We'll be talking Survivor all season long here on the channel. Right here, this is an article from Noops Christensen, which goes and takes a look at some of the stuff here in the over on the Survivor side of things. We'll go over to Bet365, and you can kind of see, you can kind of tell by the spread which teams are at least going to be in consideration this week. We've got the Bills as 6.5 point favorites, the Lions as 6 point favorites, the Ravens as 11.5 point favorites, the Rams 5.5 point favorites on the road against the Titans. You got the Cowboys as 5 point favorites, 6.5 here, Panthers and the Cardinals. And that'll kind of round things out as far as real contenders for this week when it comes to Survivor. So, let's start with the biggest favorite and probably the most picked team of the week is going to be Baltimore. And listen, if you want to play Baltimore and if you're in a smaller pool and you're just trying to survive in advance and you don't think this thing's going to get very deep into the season, I have no problem with Baltimore. The problem is, for me using Baltimore, why I won't is because Baltimore has a ton of future value. So this is a team that you could roll out almost any week and feel comfortable in doing it. But I mean, you got to look ahead, and we're talking week 5 against Houston, week 8 against Chicago, week 9 against Miami, week 11 against Cleveland, week 12 against the Jets, week 14 against the Steelers, week 16, if you make it that long, against the Patriots. These are all usable spots for the Ravens. And so for me, not going to play the Ravens this week, though I do expect them to be the most popular team picked in most of the pools out there. And again, if you're in a smaller pool, fine. If there's less kind of like strategy and game theory involved, I think it's perfectly fine to go with the Ravens. Second most likely team to get picked is the Dallas Cowboys. Here's the thing for me. I'm probably going to have a few of my entries on the Cowboys, just the way that I think I'm going to play the contest. But I will say Deron Bland not playing for them is at least somewhat concerning. All that being said, it's still the Giants. They look atrocious. The defensive line, which is why we like them in the first place, got the third least amount of pressure on quarterbacks in week number 1 out of any team in the NFL. I mean, that's one of the reasons we like the Giants, and they couldn't get to the quarterback. And Dak looked good. PFF loved him. Second highest graded quarterback on the week. I think Pickens fit in pretty well. So at least a few of my entries are going to be there on Dallas. I think the third most popular team is very likely to be the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals, I used some of my entries last week on them, so they might be dead to you. But if you went ahead and you used one of these other teams to get through, I think the Cardinals are a very, very good pick this week against Carolina. That defense is so incredibly bad. And so even if the offense plays a little bit better than they did in week number 1, I imagine the Cardinals and Kyler Murray back at home against one of the worst defenses in the NFL are going to be able to score whenever they really want to. And so with that, I think we're going to get a decent performance here out of Arizona at home. They should be able to run for days on this Carolina team. So I like Carolina a lot. Like I said, the entries in which I did not use Carolina last week, I will be using, I should say Arizona, sorry. Arizona last week, I will be using Arizona against Carolina this week. We sit here with the Bills. I don't think the Bills are going to be all that popular, and mainly because you want to talk about future value. I mean, like, you don't have to use them this week. The Jets at least look a little feisty last week. And then you've got games, even next week, Miami. Week after that, New Orleans. Week after that, New England. You got a game later in the season against New England. Game later in the season against Cleveland. You get the Jets again towards the end of the season. It's no need to use Buffalo this week. Too much future value. They're too good, and you can roll them out at too many other points, in my opinion. I think the next 2 fringe teams are going to be the Rams and the Detroit Lions. It probably would have been San Francisco had we not run into all the injuries for San Francisco this week. If you haven't caught it, Brock Purdy not going to play. George Kittle moved to IR. They got a couple of other injuries on that side of the ball. So my guess is that they don't garner as much attention as they would have. Now, it could be a sneaky play. You could say to yourself, Mac Jones is good enough to get it done against this Saints team. And I think that's fine, but it's on the road at New Orleans. They didn't look completely incompetent last week. I'm not going to go there. I think there's so many other good options that I'll wait. Let the quarterback get back, or at least get Mac Jones to get a couple of games under his belt or something like that. Get him back at home, maybe not on the road, all those different things. So I'm not going to go there. But I think the Rams and the Lions are going to be fairly interesting. The Lions not listed here, but I do think that they're going to be fairly popular in this week. I have no problem with the Rams. Matthew Stafford looked absolutely fantastic. I think that defense is pretty good. The Tennessee Titans, I don't know if they're going to be complete doormats all year long, but certainly will be at the early part of the season. Cam Ward made some good throws, and he made some just god-awful throws as well. Just absolutely terrible stuff. So from him, like the Rams a lot, very likely to be on the Rams with some of my entries as well. I'm not going to go there with Detroit, even though they are, as we saw over here when we were looking at the odds. I mean, they are 6-point favorites in this game. I'm not going to go there, and mainly because I saw at least enough out of that first drive from the Bears that, I don't know, man, if they can figure out how to replicate some of that stuff that they got on the scripted drive, I think that could cause a little bit of trouble for the Lions. It's tough for me because I'm obviously don't think that the Lions completely fell off with losing their coordinators. And listen, the Lions just might have run into a buzzsaw. Maybe the Packers are just awesome this year. And I think that's at least in the realm of possibilities. But I think there's just enough juice for the Bears that I might wait a little bit. The only problem with Detroit is that division is very tough. And so when are you going to use them again? Maybe you're just targeting week 4 against Cleveland. That seems like a very, very logical spot, or even week 12. If you hold them out to week 12, they play the Giants. And by then the Giants will be rolling out Jackson Dart. Hell, maybe he's better, but I mean, he'll still be a rookie quarterback and all that. Both of those are home games. Cleveland's at home. Giants are at home as well. I don't blame you if you want to try to take advantage of zigging where people are zagging. I mean, I don't think the Lions are going to get all that much ownership this week in whatever contest you're in. But for me, since I do really like Dallas, I really like Arizona, I really like the Rams this week, I think those are the obvious landing spots for me. And if you're in big contests, I think those are the obvious landing spots for you. If you are in smaller contests, you want to play the Ravens, more power to you. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I totally get it. And it is kind of the slam dunk play of the week. Guys, you can come check out Noop's article over here on lineups.com. And of course, as always, we'll be doing this each and every week, hopefully talking to a whole bunch of survivors out there, a bunch of people that are ready to cash some of those big checks. So hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comment section who you playing in Survivor this week, and good luck on all your Survivor plays.